Hello there. Boris Johnson just handed Keir Starmer's arse to him on a plate by giving a barnstormer of a speech at the Tory party conference, even though when it came to actual policy, the speech had less meat on its bones than the non-existent turkey destined for some people's tables this Christmas. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Love him or loathe him, Boris Johnson is the nation's greatest cheerleader and knows how to entertain a crowd. And that's all well and good if your job isn't Prime Minister, where substance is needed to win over the public. Oh wait, no, actually, you don't need substance to fool the majority of the public. All you need is to press the correct buttons with comedic style to evoke the right emotions and Bob's your parents' non-binary sibling. And the public are then back in line to vote for the best entertainer they can get into office. And on cue there was Boris quipping about kitting out the Ian Blackford mansion like Crofter's cottage with super-fast access to the internet, which is being rolled out across the country. But for those whose universal credit 20 quid uplift ended today, they might view that as a Boris Antoinette moment of let them eat broadband. Sorry Tory party faithful, but while Boris kept up the Keir Starmer Captain Hindsight jibes, he didn't realise that his light-hearted policy-free speech was turning him into Captain Complacent. A Captain Complacent who is faced with such a miserable opposition that he can sit there and airily wave the problems of life away by saying, "It'll be all right on the night." This was a party leader's speech, not a Prime Minister's speech. But it's so easy to be complacent when faced by a Labour Party leader that provides a masterclass in how not to inspire his own party, let alone the public at large. The British political system has been reduced to a rabble-rousing version of Britain's Got Talent, with the House of Commons being the main stage for the political peacocks to show off their feathers in an absurd ritual that the public, for now, seems to find just about entertaining enough to not request the guillotine be brought out. But as we all know, a week is a long time in politics and pride comes before, etc. Now it is party conference time, and the idea is of course to bolster the spirits of the party faithful who go out in the rain door-knocking and delivering leaflets. So you could simply boil Boris's speech down to a jingoistic jab fest in a hall filled with the mutual appreciation society that constitutes the cabinet, bottom feeders and hangers-on. And it's easy for a good entertainer to get a crowd going in a hall. And Boris was on form today, and more vaudeville than Churchill, all style over substance. At least Churchill would have given this speech with the bite of reality, as would Thatcher. But Tory supporters are calling the Boris speech one of hope and optimism. You know, like the hope and optimism we all feel as the England football team line up to settle the match on penalties. But that approach doesn't cut it when you're sat in a bubble and can't see or even imagine what many people are facing right now. 20 quid a week less in the pay packet, queuing for petrol, paying more to heat your home as winter approaches, watching piglets being slaughtered and burned on the TV, price rises, taxes rising, and the prospect of credit card charges going up as it's almost certain that interest rates will be hiked in the next few months. And the nation is told jokily by their Prime Minister that all is well with the world. The bread and circuses are now well and truly baked into British politics. Yes, we live in a society now ruled by the court jesters. But what Boris has done is to swing his Tory party behind tax rises and big government. Yes, they now applaud it. Well, they applauded it today, didn't they? In the hope that Boris will be able to pull the tax cut rabbit from the hat before the next election. But have they hoisted in his spending plans? From HS2 to replacing petrol and diesel cars with battery-driven vehicles while not yet having a coherent energy policy to fulfill it, and ripping gas boilers out of houses and replacing them with expensive and unworkable heat pumps and all the rest of it. And there was nothing about our fishing community in that speech, nor about Northern Ireland being an integral part of the UK. The Northern Ireland Protocol that is causing so much damage there was not even given a passing mention. No, this was just cherry-picking of the good bits and coming out with the same old stuff like controlling immigration, when what we see and hear every single day is anything but control. And that's the reason that people left the hall saying it was a 10 out of 10 speech of optimism, because he didn't mention any of the negative issues and how they would be addressed. But they might start remembering them on the journey home and when watching the news later. Boris even managed to argue that Thatcher would have raised taxes. He also managed to herald a new policy that is actually an old policy recently consigned to the archives and dug back out again for this occasion. A 2019 plan to give £5,000 to teachers who go to teach in schools in deprived areas was recently scrapped. But Boris just announced a £3,000 scheme for maths and science teachers to go and teach in deprived areas. So levelling up became not quite levelling up. But he did give the conference some red meat to feast upon. And part of that was to declare a war on the woke agenda, and said that the Conservatives would defend the UK's history and cultural inheritance. But nothing about how that would be achieved in the face of a completely woke establishment that runs from schools to universities to the civil service to the police, etc., etc., etc. At the end of the day, as I've already said, this was a party leader's speech designed for the party conference faithful echo chamber and its supporters listening outside. This was not a speech by a Prime Minister aimed at the country as a whole, and that for me is where it failed. And because of that, Boris might have just lined himself and his party up for a big fall. Without the addition of a bit of blood, sweat and tears, all he's done is given his believers a sugar rush today. But will the bitter pill of medicine have to be taken in the near future as reality takes hold? Or is it a case of, who cares? There's no opposition to speak of. A general election is either years away or easily winnable if they call an early one. And with an 83-seat majority, they're in the driving seat and can basically do as they please. And if that's what they think, then that's complacency. And that's what I fear Boris has become. Captain Complacent of Smugland, facing the opposition of a hapless Captain Hindsight who is more concerned with opposing the hard left in his own party rather than providing a credible opposition to the government of the day. So what's your opinion on the Boris speech? Please like and comment below.